Hey everyone, welcome back to In Building Design. I'm Rob McKay, and with me as always is our infinite new guy, Ken.
And as always, happy to be standing to your immediate left.
On today's episode of In Building Design, we're in Ocala, Florida at the World Equestrian Center, the US's largest equestrian complex, measuring over 4,000 acres. Our good friends at Isokern invited us to follow along as they installed 4 fireplaces in the 5-star hotel at the center of the complex, 2 of which are 7 feet long. Have you ever seen a 7-foot-long fireplace?
No, I have not. Then again, I don't know that I've ever stayed in a 5-star hotel.
Well, this should be a real treat for you then. Let's go check it out.
Andy Perrone.
Rob McKay.
Nice to meet you, Rob.
Nice to meet you. This is quite a project you got going on here. Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome to the World Equestrian Center. This is a hotel project that we're doing. We're going to be putting in a few fireplaces for the owner here. In this case, we're doing a custom back-to-back, an 84-inch fireplace for the interior, and on the opposite wall, an 84-inch exterior fireplace back-to-back.
Wow, 7 foot wide.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
It's going to be an impressive focal point of the entry of this hotel. We also have a couple of other fireplaces back to the backside of the hotel and a dining entertainment type area where we have some of our Ventless products. So this particular project will entail 4 fireplaces. So
you said we've got 2 7-foot wide fireplaces here. Does that 7-foot wide fireplace come in like a box, or how does that work?
The Isokern materials ship on a pallet.
Okay.
So they're palletized with the component pieces, and they're strapped down and they ship to the job sites on the pallet.
Okay.
And then when they arrive, it's the installers take them apart piece by piece and stage them in the area of what they're going to be
installed. And that's what they're doing now.
And that's what
right?
we're at right now. So this is the location for the exterior fireplace.
Okay.
So where we were on the inside of the building, we were pretty much parallel to where we're standing right now. So if you can envision, this is where the 84 Magnum is going to sit.
Yep.
And on the opposite side of this wall, where we were just a minute ago, is the interior 84 Magnum. So they're going to be back to back, and the only thing separating them is going to be the wall between them. And then up above, you can see about that point where you see the seam is the area where those 2 flues from the interior are going to penetrate the wall and join the 2 for the outside fireplace.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty impressive.
I think so. With this particular install, where the Isokern system is an all masonry system, so even like the firebox, which we were just speaking about, is a masonry component system that goes together. The masonry chimney typically stacks in 1-foot increments. But on this project here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transitioning into a metal flue. It's a stainless steel insulated double wall metal flue, which will give us some flexibility of being able to move the chimney to get these 4 flues in line.
So with the EcoSteel chimney systems, there's 2 options, an air-cooled and an insulated. Why did you choose insulated on this project?
It was a decision that was based on, because of this being a commercial environment, we wanted to offer the best overall performing product. In this case, the insulated pipe is capable of operating in very high temperatures, which a 7-foot fireplace can put off a good sized fire. So, and with them being drafted with fans, okay, the insulated pipe is truly packed. It has insulation around the 2 walls of the flue.
Okay.
So you have less noise rattling with the fan running, so it's going to be quieter overall.
Sure. The worst thing you would want is having your glass of wine and hear rattling in the background.
Going on, absolutely. The design in this particular fireplace is they wanted a raised platform, which is known as a raised hearth.
Okay.
So they're setting up, basically, it's the platform which everything's going to be built off of. We have some 8-inch block that they've laid down, and then some half block, the bottom plate, and then the actual fire brick will get us to that finished dimension.
Gotcha. So you just kind of build up until you get to that right height.
Exactly.
So tell us about this. Is this normal mortar that we just get at the hardware store?
No, it's not actually. This particular mortar is Earthcore adhesive, and it's specifically designed for assembling the Isokern pumice fireplace.
Okay.
So it ships in the bucket, as you can see here.
Yep.
And it's dry set. So they add water to it and they mix it till it becomes like toothpaste type texture.
So every piece is going to have this to kind of assemble it together.
Correct, and there's only a small bead that's necessary in between the joints to get it to lock and bond together.
Okay.
Now you'll notice here on this one component, this one sidewall component, there's a small crack to the unit.
Yep.
Now that's considered normal, because in shipping sometimes the vibration, it can happen. But no worries whatsoever. Is in the field, this can be field repaired. And the technique basically is we take the Earthcore adhesive, and the term is known as parging the joint.
Okay.
So we're gonna parge the crack to cover it, and after it sets and dries, it'll form bond harder than what it was prior. But we never want to take multiple broken pieces and try to make them one again.
That makes a lot of sense. So right now, they want to make sure it's square, so set the foundation right.
Correct.
So then you can continue building up from there.
Correct. And then the basic assembly goes up sidewall, back wall to form the firebox opening.
So not a lot of mortar needed there, just enough to make that bond,
What
right?
they call the term is a bead. It's just a bead of mortar. You would think they could put a bunch of, because you see brick masons, they load up the brick with these big wad and they're sitting in place. Not the nature of this product here. Again, with the pumice material being so porous, is that a lot of that mortar gets up into the grooves, and then once it forms hard, it's solid as can be.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, these are precision-made pieces. Is anyone else making stuff?
That's a very good
tight?
question. One of the distinct advantages into the Isokern product is our molds are very uniform. And the company invests a lot of resource into ensuring that all the components come out the same repetitively over and over and over again. Our competitors don't have that luxury. So that is certainly a distinct advantage to the Isokern material.
So on this project, there's 4 total fireplaces. The first 7-footers that we have on the other end of the building. And up here, we've got some vent-free fireplaces. And since they're ventless, we're still gonna support the top of the fireplace with this piece of steel to make sure that we've got a nice support across the overall opening. So when they're installing the steel, a real smart way of doing it, they install the top plate up first. That thing's really heavy. And instead of trying to work your way around it, they installed it first, and now they'll just pop it up and just slide that steel in there. It's a lot smarter way of going at it. So now that top plate's fully supported, and it'll carry the weight right across the front of that opening. So here's the fireplace they wrapped up yesterday. They installed it. Again, it's a ventless fireplace. This thing's gonna look great. Once we've got fire brick installed in here, it's gonna look like a traditional masonry fireplace. They're gonna have a vent-free log set in here. And again, when someone's looking at this, they're gonna think it's a traditional fireplace until you notice there's no venting there. So really a cool, innovative product. Here, if we were gonna put a traditional fireplace with venting, we have a ton of challenges above us. We've got steel beams, we've got other walls ahead of us. So that prohibited us from using a traditional vented fireplace here. The ventless is a great alternative to that. So this morning, these guys made it out here a little bit earlier and we're able to knock this fireplace out in a hurry. Again, this is a great solution to a problem that we have inside this workspace, and it's still gonna accomplish what the customer wanted, an awesome looking fireplace. So the next component is the smoke dome, correct?
This is what they're building now, and this is what they call a double level smoke dome or double section smoke dome.
Okay.
And the components will create a chamber of air inside of the fireplace, which will help exacerbate the drafting process.
Okay. So that's where the smoke's kind of rolling and turning and going back up the flue.
Correct.
So this is the top of the smoke dome. This is where the chimney's gonna lock in, right?
This is called the top plate.
Okay.
And this particular fireplace will have 2 openings, so hence 2 top plates that we're going to attach the anchor plate to, the adapter that's going to allow us to start running the metal flue.
Yep.
So basically, we're about finished with the firebox assembly.
So that just locked right in.
Yeah.
A breath of relief, because you know it's in there.
Right.
Say you were gonna build a traditional fireplace like this out of block and brick and all that. I'm guessing there's a ton of math that goes behind making sure that fireplace works.
There is. There's a couple of thoughts there. Is number one, when you're building a site-built fireplace, there's more time involved because there's much smaller pieces you're working with. You're building with brick and mortar, where the Isokern components are big puzzle, much larger puzzle pieces. So
sure.
After the mason is familiar with the way it goes together, it assembles, it can assemble much quicker than what a mason can build. Typically also, a site-built fireplace requires some inspections.
Gotcha.
That causes the delay in the assembly of the system. So we're exempt from that inspection because we're a tested listed product.
So the team's getting ready to install the anchor plate. As you can see here, the anchor plate is what the actual chimney pipe is going to attach to. On the back of this anchor plate or underneath is a gasket material. It's a fiber material, and what that is creates a gasket between two dissimilar materials. You've got the Isokern material and this piece of steel. So what they've done is they use the Earthcore adhesive first to put on top of that top plate, then install the gasket material, the anchor plate, and then tap counting that down. So what that does is it ensures a nice tight seal and ensures that no smoke will escape from underneath that anchor plate. Other thing to note on this anchor plate is this void here, this gap here is filled with insulation. So we talked earlier about the different types of chimney systems that you can use. With Eco Steel, you can either use an air-cooled, which this void would be open, allowing the air to pass through and cool the chimney, or have an insulated pipe that keeps the chimney warmer, also reduces on noise. Since we're using a mechanically drafted system here, we want to reduce all the rattling and that noise that can happen, and this insulation really kind of helps deaden that sound. So we're going to offset the chimney using 30-degree offsets. 30-degree offset is the maximum offset you can use for an Class A chimney or wood-burning chimney. And as you can see, as this is going to sit on top of the fireplace, it's got that 30-degree angle to help offset the chimney and get around the obstacle. And in this case, the obstacle is that steel beam. We want to have this chimney exit the building and run along the outside of the wall and marry up with the exterior fireplace. And we're going to stack those chimneys so they look nice and clean and architecturally pleasing all the way up. Here's the challenge is kind of measuring where exactly you want that to penetrate. We're going to have carpenters come in, cut a hole, have the chimney exit out, and then they'll frame around that. So what he's doing now is just adding the final touches to this fireplace. You want to make sure that each seam is completely sealed and parged correctly. He initially took the baker's bag and kind of went along and traced out each seam now. And now he's just working back with a trowel to make sure all that adhesive is worked into the joint and is creating a good bond for the fireplace. So as you can see, we're well underway, a lot of work ahead, but once these fireplaces are complete, these two behind us and those 7-footers out there are going to be awesome additions to this truly great hotel. Another Isokern project done right.